They can't defend Joe Biden in any way, shape, or form. You know why? Because Joe Biden is all about pardons before anybody's convicted of a crime. Like, these are the preemptive pardons, the ones that the media was so upset about, the possibility that Donald Trump might actually do, which he never did last time around. We'll take a look at that list. That looks very interesting. We got James Biden. We got Sarah Jones Biden. We got Valerie Biden Owens. John Owens, another family member. Francis Biden. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Ooh. Dr. Anthony Fauci, you needed a preemptive pardon. General Mark Milley, Liz Cheney. Oh, I know why Liz Cheney deserved one, because she was doing some stuff that was woo, along with Adam Schiff and Adam Kinzinger and all those other members of the J6 committee. But here's the thing. Like, if you're not guilty of anything, if you didn't commit a crime, why are you being pardoned? I mean, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Like, I've never really heard of this. And you know what? It's a stain on his record. CNN admitted it. John King, he's like Mr. CNN, says, yeah, like, I mean, there's not a lot to say about this, other than it is a stain on the Biden legacy. You bet it is, buddy.
It's just unseemly. If you're going to do it, have the courage to do it in the light of day and explain it to the American people. It's a stain on his legacy to do it like this.
Of course it is. But, you know, I mean, he's so clueless. I don't even know if he knew that he was doing it. He probably didn't know. It was just Hunter saying, hey, Dad, you know, I may need this. Or Adam Schiff. I don't know. I mean, I want to go back in time to December of 2020 when they were so worried that Donald Trump was going to do the same thing, which he didn't, by the way, because he actually has a soul. Thank you very much. But this is Adam Schiff. Oh, going on and on, complaining to one Joy Reid about, you know, why would anybody do this? And why would anybody take this? 4 years ago, December 2020, take a peek.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, you know, I think that it's an effort not only to prospectively pardon people for things they have not yet been charged with and may never be charged with, but also it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family. This is the nature of those the president has surrounded himself with, including his family. And that is, it's been essentially a den of thieves environment. And so I think the president views this as his way of trying to protect those that have protected him.
You lying schmuck. I'm telling you, the Schiff show, which was back in action, you know, he's a wannabe actor. He wanted to be an actor out there in LA. It didn't work out, so he became somehow a congressperson. Lucky us. Adam Schiff, the star of the Schiff show, speaking in 2020, saying how bad these pardons were. Yeah, you bet they're bad. So you know what? I'm going to hold him to his words. I agree that these preemptive pardons are just weird. I was delighted that Trump didn't do it. But you know what? Biden did, because these people are so messed up. Here's Chuck Schumer back in 2020.
The president seems intent on filling each of his remaining days in office with petulance, grievance, self-interest. The president's reportedly asking his staff about whether he can whether he can issue. President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're in agreement on that. I mean, even Biden knew he couldn't.
President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons, nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. You know, it's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
Totally different way, which is exactly why I decided to pardon my whole family, as well as the J6 committee and Milley and Fauci. Whew. All right, so This is coming up. You heard John King there on CNN saying, it's kind of a stain on his legacy. MSNBC is trying to justify it. They're like, well, you just don't know because Kash Patel and all these people, Pam Bondi, they may go after them. And so they've got to do this. Listen, if they go after them and they find something, then, hey, guess what? They deserve to have been gone after, do they not? Isn't that how it works? Unbelievable. Here's Cory Booker trying to justify it on CNN, another Democrat. New Jersey.
On that point, I want to get you to respond to this because what I'm already hearing from people who work for Trump and are his allies is that there's really no leg for the Democrats don't have a leg to stand on because President Biden leaving today, issued a raft of pardons, including for his own family members and his sister and his brothers and their spouses, and then also for an activist, an elderly activist who is convicted of killing 2 FBI agents. Chris Wray did not even want him to commute that sentence that President Biden did today. They say that doesn't give Democrats an argument here to criticize these pardons. What is your response to that?
I think that's the mistake we're seeing now is people trying to reduce this to tribalism. This is not about Democrat or Republican. Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain what he did and his reasoning. But the people he pardoned, his family members, did not, before the naked public eye, beat police officers, try to overthrow our government, lead to the death of police officers, and have injuries, scars, both visible and invisible, on police officers that are still affecting their lives today. This is not about left or right in our country. We can't just say this is a tit for tat or their side did it so my side can do it. No.
Yeah, right. Cory, you're not even a talented liar, okay? You're just bad. You're just bad at your job because you don't even know how to lie. It's just so gross to hear these people. It really, 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 really is. Look, Adam Kinzinger, he's taken the darn pardon, even though he told CNN just last month that he wouldn't.
Then issue pardons for the January 6th committee members, including yourself?
No, I don't want it. Look, here's the
You
thing.
don't want it?
No, because the second a pardon is issued, and look, I understand the theory behind it, because Donald Trump has clearly said he's going to go after everybody. And it's not going to be for the January 6th investigation. What they'll do is they'll weaponize other investigations. They'll look into everything and start an investigation that'll end up coming to naught, force people to pay money. This happened to Brad Raffensperger in Georgia as he was forced to defend himself. But the second you take a pardon, it looks like you're guilty of something. I'm guilty of nothing besides bringing the truth to the American people and in the process embarrassing Donald Trump, because for 187 minutes he sat there and did absolutely nothing and showed how weak and scared he truly was. So no, I don't want it. And, the bottom line is, if he wants to bring up January 6th again, we've had all this talk about how we're moving on from January 6th, and trust me, Anderson, I would love to. My life has been defined by this for 4 years, but if he wants to bring it back, I will be happily talking about everything the committee did and learned and re-embarrassed.
What some people may not realize is you're saying you don't want a pardon. Fighting whatever might come your way can cost you and your family, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you think about it, and this happened with...
But I guess he's taking it anyway, along with everybody else there, getting the pre-pardons, the preemptive pardons. You talk about unraveling the country and creating some kind of Supreme Court crisis. This is where they're taking us, ladies and gentlemen, all right? This is exactly where they are taking us. So let me just ask the question, is there any way that the president can undo this? Think about it. I'm going to do some research on that. I was talking to a constitutional law scholar just yesterday about it. I want to be careful how I frame this, but this is bizarre. And then here's the other question. So it sounds like if they can't actually be thrown in the slammer for anything that they did that was illegal, I guess all you need to do is get one of them to turn. If you get one of them to turn because they can testify now against themselves without any kind of penalty, maybe we actually have a shot at figuring out exactly what went down. And you see, it will have the reverse effect, but at least we will get to the truth, which is what we need, transparency and truth. Trump got a kick out of the pardon series. Why the H-E-double-L are you protecting these idiots?
But I was really going to talk about the level of, what's going on. Why are we doing this? Why are we trying to help a guy like Milley. Why are we doing Milley? He was pardoned. What he said, terrible what he said. Why are we helping some of the people? Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic and crying Adam Kinzinger. He's a super crying. I never saw the guy not crying. He's always crying.
Yeah. Always crying. He likes to cry. He shows his emotions. You know, he could star in Adam Schiff's next show or something. Like, very emotional crowd there.